Talking, arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defiant, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. At every bar, even though my bar has been the hardest. The scars on my face, and I ain't always been the smartest. But I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeves, even if the beat stops my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why Pinky's all over the place.
Pinky's causing issues.
It's Tuesday. Come hang out with the fellas. We're off to a rough start. It'll get better, I promise.
That's why we drink, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we drink.
Everybody, welcome. Here with the fellas. Pinky's running late because he decided to talk a lot of wrestling tonight. Robert, how you doing, good sir?
Oh, man, I'm doing fairly well. Today marks 30 days to the World Cup. I got to see Mortal Kombat this weekend. I've got tickets for Mandalorian and Grogu. I've got my popcorn bucket already. Like, life is great, my man. I can't complain.
I like that.
And I got Fight Club. Like, I got a bunch of movies I added into my collection this last week that I'm pretty thrilled with. So
good. All right. Good.
I've got some movies on my list. Marty Supreme. I will have a review on that. I've just bought the physical, so I'll be getting to that here soon. Yeah, no, man, life's been awesome. What the Avs won yesterday, like, and it was a great win. It wasn't a solid, it was a great win in my opinion. So I'm just.
Well, we're gonna talk about that.
I thanks to forces that will not be named, I have become more and more into hockey. Outside of Pinky, I've been watching consistently and watching not just the Avs but multiple teams. So it's
just this guy. You guys, if you could see the behind the scenes right now of the things happening with this guy that's about to join, just
oh my gosh, this dude.
I mean, wardrobe change.
Dude's like, I'm a whole new person. He's like, what are you talking about? I've been wearing this all day.
Like this guy, I'll tell you, he just, if you could see the magic that he's able to perform behind the scenes, it's just, oh,
that's what my wife says too.
Yeah.
Pinky, my good sir. Cheers.
Boys,
Welcome.
good to see you guys.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're gonna jump in here. Pinky, welcome. Glad you could grace us with your presence.
I do what I can.
Our boy Cotton Chase is here. He's going to talk some
Chase
championship this weekend.
Woo-woo.
We got hockey playoffs, NBA playoffs, UFC. We are fitting all of that into an hour somehow. Even if it's just, hey, we told you we would talk about this. Here it is. Goodbye. Move on to the next subject. It'll get mentioned. And then we've got Robert's foreshadowed nonsense topic from last week with villains, and
what makes you love a villain?
Yeah, that should be fun.
But underlining what makes you, not just everyone, what makes you love a villain.
If you couldn't tell yet, we're all about personal opinions here. That wasn't clear, and you're a newcomer.
Yes,
We think the general public might. But us.
The general public isn't us, and we are not the general public. Caleb often finds himself on an island. Maybe every once in a while, Pinky and I will find ourselves there. But I'm a dark sider at heart. This has been talked about several times, but that doesn't necessarily mean what Caleb thinks or what Pinky thinks. And I really want to know what gets them falling in love with villains, because I like bad guys. At the end of the day, what can I say? The bad guys should, in some opinion, win sometimes. I think
they do. So before I bring our guest on, I gotta. This pops up in the comments, and hey, Jamar, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you not a New England Patriots football fan?
Ooh,
But the Avs have. So, are you a Dallas hockey fan? You gotta help me out here, man. Gotta help me out here on the fandom.
I need clarity.
I love to know how the web all connects, man.
So what it sounds like is Jamar needs to come on as a guest host and give us his walkthrough.
I like that.
Excellent.
Jamar is awesome. He knows his stuff.
Love this.
All right. Well, as that goes through the chat, without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Chase!
How are we this fine evening, good sir?
Cheers to Cotton.
Cheers, Cotton.
Did everybody else hear him? Is it just me?
I can't hear him.
No Cotton.
No Cotton.
Technical difficulties again.
Thanos was always right, Jamar. We've had this discussion. Just how he went about it might be debated, but he's always right.
He's one of our newer watchers of the show.
Log out, and when you log back in, just make sure it shows your microphone's connected with the same. I know sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't connect. Okay, I've been there. I know better than anybody did.
Caleb is the Caleb is the IT issue king over here.
I got left and right. I understand. We'll see if we can get him back in with some actual noise coming from his end, and that'll clear some things up.
And I feel like I need to fix this lighting. It's really dark up in here.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not trying to be dark and brooding. I'm sorry.
I thought
There
that
we
was
go.
just your go-to weekly look.
I mean, it normally is, but it doesn't always have to be. I just feel like it was a little too dark this
Doesn't
week.
always have to be. Just most of the time, sometimes.
Hey, I mean, this room is called the Batcave for a reason.
Right.
Like all my life, it's be like
100% of the time. I get
I
it.
can't say her name because she'll do it, but I tell her to turn off the Batcave and turn on the Batcave. I have no shame.
Okay.
I almost called it the Sanctum Sanctorum, but that's a little too much.
That's going a little far.
That's a little much. That's too wordy. Batcave gets it done.
I mean,
All right.
not just that. I mean, if we're being honest, at least the Batcave is part of the home still, right?
I mean, but the Sanctum Sanctorum is Doctor Strange's home, so
All right, boys.
Is it though, or is it its own
I think it's like a pet, it's a whole building. He lives there.
Okay. Well,
Remember in No Way Home, he had his own little parka and slippers on and everything. That dude lives there.
but didn't the Sanctum Sanctorum, didn't you go through an actual other door to get there, and that door hence kind of put you in a different area
No.
altogether?
No, it's in New York. He just that takes you to the Camertage, but the Sanctum Sanctorum is in New York.
Okay. All right.
It's just too wordy. I don't want to say that.
Well, fine. You keep it.
Maybe Sanctum, but now we're getting way off topic. We're getting way off topic.
Ridiculous. Absolutely just
Way off topic.
All right. Let's try.
I'm blaming Cotton. It's Cotton.
Yeah, it's Cotton's fault. I mean,
Can we hear you now, good sir?
Can you hear me now?
we have life.
There we go. All right. Fuck the computer. Just use my phone. Everything seems to work fine that way. Who needs a computer? How are we, boys?
Wonderful,
Good, buddy.
Wonderful.
We're on the show. It's Tuesday. It's great.
How have
Yep.
you been since the last time we spoke with you a little over a month ago regarding the Masters?
Oh, just fabulous. It went similarly to kind of how I thought it was going to go. So no huge surprises there.
So before we get into the PGA Championship, there is news that I feel like needs to be discussed because it does have an impact on, I would say, this championship as well as the next two to come, in the sense that it sounds like Live Golf will be folding.
It sure
Now-
does sound like that.
Will they be able to keep up and still be some kind of league without the PIF behind them? Doubtful. And so that's why, with the PIF stating they're pulling out, that's why everybody thinks they will be no more. So given that scenario, you hear guys like Bryson, which doesn't surprise me, but I hope he doesn't do this, focus on things like his YouTube golf and play in tournaments that basically just given him an exemption to play. I mean, I would hate to not see him regularly playing golf in a meaningful fashion because of how talented he is. I use that as an example with other guys. How many of these guys actually get back on tour?
Only a few, I think. You know, you want to see Bryson play. So does everybody else, and the PGA Tour knows that. You know, so they're already getting way more lenient on like their social media and YouTube stuff for those guys, so that are actually able to create more content, do a little bit more. And I think that was probably kind of tailored toward Bryson himself. There's nobody else on that tour or the PGA Tour that has kind of the social following that he does. But at the same time, you want to talk about how many guys from Live are going to be able to come back. Thing is, outside of Rom, Bryson, Cam Smith, maybe, like, are there any other Live golfers that you can even name that you think are going to benefit the PGA Tour? I follow it, and I can name you a few more for you, but not a whole bunch, and not that are exciting names that anybody gives a shit about. And I think that's a big reason why Live kind of folded so much is, yeah, you got a couple of big names, but the other guys are kind of washed. Like fucking Pat Perez, who gives a shit?
Sure.
So
Isn't Phil Mickelson on the Live Tour?
Yeah, that's a good example of wash, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he's fallen off the face of the planet, and I really don't agree with some of the stuff he's been doing. But I just wondered where he's currently at in that situation.
I mean, honestly, Phil's getting to the age now where he could play on the Champions Tour, and that would actually be very meaningful to that tour. So a guy like that, obviously, like, they're going to have paths forward because people want to see him, but there's only a handful of them, and those guys are the ones that are going to be good enough to play on the PGA Tour and can contend every week. Unfortunately,
do you think it will require at least one major?
I don't see why not. All those guys that are exciting have all done it, so there's an easy solve for the solution right there. You win a major, you're allowed back. Because only the exciting names are the ones that anybody cares about anyways. Again, the Pat Perez, Louis Oosthuizen, like nobody really cares. But those big names are going to continue to draw and have continued to draw even on a tour that doesn't really have much viewer ratings in comparison.
So with them basically out of the picture, we have seen, I think, the guys that left kind of did what they were hoping to do, which is invoke change within the PGA Tour, kind of like you talked about, more lenient on the social media and what they're able to do and things of that nature. You see guys like Koepka now already back, playing fairly well here as of late. Do you think his transition has kind of, lack of a better word, been completed, and we'll start seeing him actually competing again, Mr. Major, if you will, back on form?
Brooksy, absolutely, man. He was the first one to kind of transition back, if you will, and I think he's been accepted not only by the players but the fans. The fans wanted to see him back. They didn't watch the Live Tour. It wasn't exciting enough. So I think him as the guinea pig coming back is gonna give those other guys a little bit more confidence to come back. And because Brooks wasn't the most liked player on tour,
right,
but everybody welcomed him with open arms. Same goes with Bryson. I don't know who doesn't like Dustin Johnson, but I don't think he can play at the level to bring him back. But like
the Jay Cutler of golf, is that?
That's fair.
Dang. I got that reference. I got that reference.
Like, I would say he's the good part of that reference, but he's very like even tempered all the time.
Sure.
Like, you don't get a lot from Dustin.
No, you
Outside of start reading like his Twitter account or something, and you're like, dude goes off the rails a little bit at times. Wonder what him and Gretzky are doing this weekend.
and exactly, dude. What do you got to complain about, man? You're
Right.
one of the, most victorious golfers of all time.
Yeah.
Your father-in-law is Wayne Gretzky. You can play whenever. You got a yacht. What do you got to worry about? You got paid by Live. Like that's life-changing money. You don't got to come back. These other guys are going to come back because they want to compete. I think DJ's just at the point like, hey, give me my yacht, and I'm chilling, man.
I'm glad you brought him up because he was going to be the next name I talked about because he's kind of started or wanted to start the transition as well. He's been fairly vocal here recently about wanting to be back in form, like major championship form. Do you think maybe the transition back is something he's looking at as a not second chance, but a second era, if you will, of his golf career where he might be able to make another run or two at some of these majors? Because in his prime, that was the dude out driving everybody. That was the guy hitting long irons into the pin that you weren't expecting and having those Sunday putts. And he had a stretch there where he didn't win as much as a lot of us thought he might. But I mean, the fact that he was constantly in that conversation, similar to Rory and Scheffler, can he get back to that after how many is he at? 2? He's got 2 majors, I think.
I think he might have a couple more than that. But only Dustin Johnson can answer that question. That's a true commitment. The thing is, Dustin Johnson, he's got an extreme athletic talent. These guys aren't working like they were when they were on the PGA Tour because they didn't need to for Live. Whether they win or lose, they get paid. And so I think the lifestyle, the motivation, the work ethic all gets kind of sacrificed going over to that tour. And if you want to make a splash on this tour, you got to get off the yacht and get in the gym a little bit. And and I think Brooks is a prime example of that. I think he's a lot closer to being in his prime than DJ, and he's still even struggling a little bit. So, and the thing is that the younger generation, every new class of guys that comes out is better, faster, stronger. It's these old guys. It's tough for them to compete, man.
Yeah, that's very true. So speaking of past champions and favorites, looking forward now to this tournament, is there anybody come Thursday tee times that has a chance outside of Rory or Scotty, if we're being perfectly honest with the situation?
I mean, I'm fading Rory this week. He I don't know. He quit on the 4th hole of his practice round because he has a big blister on his pinky toe. And you think like, oh, it's just a blister. It can't be that bad. But like, there's photos of him like shoe is off. He's limping. And
Is it his left or right foot?
I think it's his right.
So it can't rotate back.
Don't hold me totally to that, but again, shoe off, got through 4 holes of the practice round before calling it quits. This is the PGA Championship. Like if it was uncomfortable, he'd keep practicing. To me,
Sure.
There's something more there if you're only playing 4 holes and you're just going to hope that everything is good. Now, the PGA Championship, this is a course where it's not at the same course every single year. So just because you've had success at this particular major doesn't mean anything because it swaps courses all the time. So, to that point, Brooks has won PGA Championship 3 times. He owns this tournament. And he's won it at 3 different courses, and he's going to have to do that at another new course. The last time that this course was played by PGA was the BMW Championship in 2018. So, these guys haven't competed on this course in, 8 years.
Where is it? Like, we should have mentioned that at the beginning. Apologies. PGA Championship at?
It's just outside of Philly. Aronimink. So I want to say it's like 30 miles outside of Philly. Pretty close. Weather's gonna be good. No issues there. But yeah, last competitive tournament at this course was the 2018 BMW. So it's hard. You look at the Masters, for example, and it's like, all right, well, Augusta hosts that every year. The guys that know that course really well always have a better chance. And not to say that this is a phenomenal course. All these guys, it's not like it's their first time playing the course, but it's the first time this tournament is going to be there, and none of them played competitive golf there since 2018. One other thing that we always talk about is, are there any new additions to this course? Something you always ask me. Since 2018, they've added 102 new bunkers. So we're talking
Since
18 holes.
2018?
Correct.
So-
102 new bunkers. So they have
Let's go to the
180
beach.
total.
Beach. Let's go get away. Hey. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep, totally. So, this course, like a lot of courses, awards long hitters, but at the same time, you can't just let it fly, because if you do, you're going to be in a bunker. The rough is pretty thick here too. The greens are a lot bigger here, so there's a lot more room for error. And if you're in the greens, or in the rough, I'm sorry, you still have a chance at keeping the ball on the green and holding it, because they're so much bigger.
102. So I love hearing that, because what I think about is a course who said, we're not going to fight the curve of the game and the new technology and the players and their abilities, and try to just lengthen the course or cut it so it's a even harder dog leg. They're just like, we're just going to add some difficulty to it. Here's another bunker here. Oh, you like to hit it here? Let's put another bunker here. Oh, you guys like to try to fly it over this one? Let's put another one.
Another bunker there. Yeah. 102 times.
Yeah. That's going to force the players to play more chess, right? They, like you said, you're not going to be able to just get up there and just let it rip.
Right. It's not going to be driver off every tee box. Absolutely. You're going to be playing for position. You're going to see a lot more players whipping out 3-wood and a lot more driving irons that these guys are holding now. Not that they're going to have an issue with wind, but again, the accuracy, the dispersion is a lot more wide with a driver as opposed to a driving iron, whereas you're not sacrificing that much in distance,
I love hearing that. So we know if Scotty's on, he's one of the best. Precision is absurd. When he's off, that thing can start spattering all over the holes on that fairway. Outside of Scotty, well, go ahead.
The crazy part about Scotty is, we've all thought that, he's maybe in a bit of a slump because, he hasn't been winning tournaments. He's finished second place in the last 3 tournaments, and he hasn't showed up to play until the weekend on all those. And when you look at his numbers, he's been top 10, top 15 driving accuracy, putting, but his approach play has been off. But these last couple weeks, his approach play has been back into top 10. So this really sets him up to kind of get that first breakthrough win in however many months it's been, which for us feels like a drought for Scotty. But, he's, like I said, he's been T2 the last 3 tournaments. But, if there's one guy that I'm throwing some dough on, it's going to be Cameron Young. To me, he's the hottest guy in golf right now. He's the top rank in the FedEx Cup rankings. He finished T3 at the Masters right alongside Scotty. He won the Cadillac. He won the Players. The guy is hot and he's confident. He can hit the ball really long. So if there's going to be anybody that gives Scotty a run for his money, to me, it's going to be Cameron Young.
I love that pick. As our boy Cody threw that out there before we even got to talking. So well played, Cody.
And Caleb, I want to throw one other name in there that I feel like you've always kind of been a fanboy of.
Ooh.
But that's our boy Ricky Fowler.
Don't do that to me.
Big Dick
Damn.
Rick. He's coming out to play, dude. So, doing a little bit of research, I was reading the guys that, have more experience in majors, because this isn't, at a repeat course type of deal. So, looking at the guys that have had good history in majors, period, right? And I started with John Rahm. This is going to be his 40th major start in his career. And then I look at Ricky Fowler. This is his 56th major that the dude is playing in.
Gotten over the hump.
And he's so overdue. And at this point, he's in great form. He finished second place, runner up last week with a solid Sunday. Before that, T9, T8. The guy's playing really, really good golf. And the last time that they played at this course, 2018 BMW, he was T8. I think kind of all signs point to Ricky for a top 5, but I foresee him contending this week too.
What was it? How long ago was the U.S. Open in LA when him and was it Schauffele, I believe?
I want to say that was 2022.
Okay. He has a history of kind of doing that in majors, right? Being there at the end and not quite finishing all the way. To see him get one would be awesome. And yes, you can say I'm fanboy, but I love guys that come into a sport and want to kind of do their own thing, but do it in a way that doesn't disrespect the game. And I think he really kind of paid a lot of homage to some of the older guys like the Payne Stewarts of that ilk, in the sense that I'm going to kind of dress how I want, be who I want, but I'm going to honor the game still. I'm going to pay respect to the game. I'm not here to try to cause a scene. I'm just here to try to be me.
Absolutely.
And so I've always liked that about Ricky. It's one of the things that drew me to Bryson as well at first. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is there's a picture hidden away somewhere of him holding my cousin's daughter and hanging out and hearing how great of a dude he was. So you put
awesome.
something like that together, and it makes it easy to root for someone.
Well, absolutely. And like you said, he kind of came into the game doing his own thing, his own style. But, even Jack Nicklaus loves the dude, comes out, all dripped out in the umbrella and just fully embraces it with his own thing. And, and he's, like I said, his 56th major. He's been doing it for a long time. He came out super young in the game. And, I think all signs point to Ricky this week.
I love hearing that. I would hope that'd be so cool to watch him on Sunday in contention. That actually leads me really nicely into my next question, because you mentioned the old and new, if you will. Cam Young being one of the new up and coming kind of young golfers that's looking to break through and kind of start making his name. And then you talk about Ricky and you look at him and Spieth and JT and that group, the Buttercream Gang or whatever they were calling themselves, who looked like at the time they were going to take over the game and kind of for a moment did, and then have since sizzled off and just haven't been able to compete at that level anymore. Do you see anybody from that group being able to get another one? Or do you see Cam Young and whoever else you would throw in that group being that next era has already arrived, and it's Rory, Scotty, and then this new group of whoever you would put in there?
Well, I mean, like I just said, I think Ricky is hot enough to contend right now for sure. Justin Thomas has been looking pretty solid as of late. You know, he was coming off of a surgery, but he's coming back into form. And you know, Jordan Spieth, we didn't even talk about that, but he wins the PGA Championship, and he's finally got the Grand Slam. But people have kind of written him off because his form has been, you know, up and down, kind of all over the place. He doesn't really seem like he has the confidence. He's always been kind of a head case, but kind of seems like he's been more and more in his head. So to me, you know, and then you want to throw the pressure of a grand slam. You know, there's a chance Spieth misses the cut this week. So you know, I'm kind of writing him off, but you know, you look at the new talent, man. They're so strong and powerful coming out that every week they have a shot. Your Cam Young's, you know, well, they get their first one, and all of a sudden the confidence is there. You know, you got your Chris Goddard ups, like that guy has just been on fire. You have this guy Yella Miraju. I could barely say his name, but he came out of nowhere and he's finished like top 20 in the last like 5 different tournaments. The young talent is so good now that, like you said, these groups come out and they're the top dogs for a couple of seasons until the new batch comes in. You know, it's not like, and the thing is that, like, don't get me wrong, Scotty is going to be at the top of the game. He's the next Tiger Woods, like the next goat of golf, if you will. And you know, in time we'll see who's going to dethrone him, but I feel like there's kind of always that one. You kind of have your groups of guys that you know, are commonly found in that top page of that leaderboard that, you know, they play together, they're buddies, yada yada, but there's just so much coming out that, you know, it only lasts a couple seasons before you're talking about somebody else.
I like that. So we'll get two final questions in here. First, the PGA, I feel like, is kind of always the forgotten or lesser known of the 4 majors. When you're talking about Masters, the Open Championship, and the U.S. Open, it used to be at the end of the year. They've since, with the changing of the calendar, have moved it up to in between the Masters and the Open. I don't think as many people. U.S. Open, right? Always known as being like, hey, if you shoot even par, well done.
U.S. Open, hardest tournament in golf, hands down.
The Open Championship, links golf, wind, weather, scores really high, scores really low. Nobody ever knows, but it's hella fun to watch. Always.
Sure.
Watching the greatest game ever played is one of my favorite U.S. Open stories of all time. I'll just say that.
Masters is the Masters. You talked about Augusta National. We know what it is. The PGA, again, not quite sure, for those that may not pay attention all the time, know exactly what it's known for. So are we talking course first players? Are we talking about it is just the 4th championship? Give the people something about this major that sticks out and is a reason to watch it as a whole.
Well, it's a major, man. So you have the best players in the world showing up. You know, it's not like they're playing the Valero Open. It's a major. So you're gonna still get the best talent. And the thing is that there's still a cut. So you still got to perform. It's not like some of these signature events where if you're playing, you know, you're in. So the level of competition in a major is always going to be huge in comparison to others. I think where this one doesn't get kind of the notoriety is that you do have a different course every single year. Now the US Open is similar, but the thing about that is that course, everybody knows that's going to be the hardest course that they play all year. This is not that. And I think you're going to see some very low scores out there. But that doesn't change the fact that it is a major, so you're getting the best talent that had to qualify for this tournament to play in it. It's you know, not just any Joe Schmo gets in. So it's going to be an exciting weekend. And talking about one thing we didn't really get to cover, and I'll just jump in with it real quick. But qualifying for this tournament, I want to talk about the Fitzpatrick brothers real quick, because we didn't really get to talk about this, but Matt Fitzpatrick, Alex Fitzpatrick, brothers from UK. Matt Fitzpatrick, one of the hottest golfers on tour, top 5 FedEx Cup, top 5 official golf world rankings. The dude's
Big part
won
of the
3.
Ryder Cup team.
Yeah, he's won 3 of the last 5 tournaments he's played in. One of which was the Zurich Classic, which is 2 guys that are paired up. And in this particular instance, he paired up with his brother, who doesn't even have a fucking PGA Tour card. Okay? And they win this thing, so his brother automatically gets a PGA Tour card. And
Didn't
his brother
actually hit the putt?
To win it, Matt is the one that hit it out of the bunker 40 feet or whatever and stuck it to a couple feet. But regardless, these 2 guys won it together. And, his brother is no slouch. He didn't come off the couch. He did play in the World Tour and stuff like that, but, hadn't been good enough to get a PGA Tour card. Well, his brother's like, nope, screw that. We're going to go win the Zurich. They do, and so automatically Alex can now play in the next week's tournament, which is the Cadillac. The dude's never played in a PGA event, and he shows up and gets a T9. And so then all of a sudden he is like, oh, I can play in next week's tournament too. The dude's T4 and has a chance to win. And now he can play in this tournament also? Like, you got to be kidding me. But nobody is talking about it whatsoever. You want to get him on DraftKings, he's like the 3rd to last guy on the very bottom after winning with his brother and then top 10 in his next PGA events, which are his only PGA events ever. So who knows? The dude could end up and shit the bed with, all the pressure that's on him with his first major. But I don't think so. He's just like, I got my card. I'm going to go play, and I'm going to finish top 10 in the first 2 events. And, like, he was chasing in this last tournament on the weekend, like he had a good shot. So, it's an incredible story for me to be able to just even think about that. Like, oh, yeah, my brother just asked me to play in this tournament, and now all of a sudden I'm allowed to play on the PGA Tour. It's insane.
I love that call. Yeah, it's a really cool story to follow. So, well done bringing that up. Let's end with this then. Who do you like? You're picking a trifecta. You're going to say, I need at least 4 dudes finishing in the top 10. I need a winner. Give me your calls right now, Chase. What are we looking at?
Well, I feel like I kind of told you who my top guys were going to be in Scotty and Cam Young. If I'm going my top 3, like DraftKings status, I'm going to go with Cam Young over Scotty, and that's just because Scotty is the obvious choice. He's overdue. He's going to be owned by everybody. He is going to be major chalk, if you will. So I would go Cam Young as my top guy. My next guy right below that I didn't really get a chance to talk about, but that's Tommy Fleetwood. He's been playing really well as of late. And, I kept talking about.
Sorry, he's verging on Ricky status in a sense, is he not?
With the amount of majors he's played in, absolutely. But, at this particular course, again, last time they played there was BMW Championship. He owns the course record at 62, and he shot it twice in that tournament.
Nice.
So, like we've talked about it at Augusta and Masters, the players that have a little bit more history at that course know it a little better, are going to have a little bit more success. And I'm going to go with the guy that's shot the course record twice.
I like that.
And I'm going to round it out, like I said, with Alex Fitzpatrick. I don't think anybody, there's going to be a few people that pick him because his value is tremendous.
Sure.
So he's going to be one of those top guys. And I'm just going to throw one other name that we didn't really get to talk about in there, but that's Terrell Hatton, another Englishman. But when I look at his history in major tournaments, he's right up there with Brooks. He's the last 17 majors he's played in, he's made the cut 16 times, and he's been top 15 half of those. So the dude shows up in majors, and I expect nothing less from him this week.
I love that. All right, solid calls. Any final thoughts you have on PGA Championship as a whole?
You talking to me?
Yeah, you.
No, man.
These other guys
think
don't want to say a word. Don't worry about them right now, okay? Lock them out. They're not even here. They're just pretty looking.
I will just say you are running out of time for all the other topics you want to converse on.
I think we covered it. I think it's going to be exciting because of the storylines that you have and the competition that's there. Yes, I think it is the least exciting of the majors, but it's still a major, and you still have the world's best players there. It's going to be a fun time.
I love it. Well, feel free to stick around if you'd like. If you would like to bail, totally cool. You were here.
I'm gonna fill my whiskey, and I'm gonna stick around.
I love it. All right, Pinky, roll us into the NHL, man. Let's talk a little quick snapshot playoffs.
All right, the graphics not great, but hopefully you guys can see it. See it close enough, I guess.
Hey, this one's accurate too. On our first try.
Hey, I love it. I was gonna say, although real quick before we get into this, Caleb, I do just want you to know, you and I are responsible for what happens in 30 days to make sure that this man gets the right graphics.
Yeah. Well. Just
the next.
We'll
get there.
To a site, and then if he pulls a graphic from anywhere else but that site, then that'll be a problem.
That's fair.
Wait, what? I don't understand. What does 30 days have to do with anything? I don't.
So, Pinky, I'm sorry, but I'm going to just have to put your podcast to rest in 30 days because the World Cup is starting, and I am on the show when a World Cup is going on. Caleb is excited for the World Cup that's going to be on. We are going to be talking about the World Cup for over a month, sir. Just want you to know.
So pull your own goddamn graphics.
Whoa.
You're the person that runs it.
Whoa. Okay, we support each other here. We don't tear each other down. Okay.
Ole, 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 ole. I can't wait
yes!
for the World Cup.
Cotton's with us. 3 against 1.
All right. NHL playoffs, Pinky. Run through this. What are you thinking about real quick here?
Let's just
a snapshot. Quick, go.
Carolina, Philly, over. Carolina moved on.
Over. Good call.
Done.
Yeah.
Dude, this is dangerous for Carolina. They're in dangerous territory right now.
Anytime you get in sports, in baseball, hockey, basketball, anytime you sit, and I guess you could say that if you get the bye in football as well, anytime you sit and you're not playing, there's that opportunity for rust. It's that opportunity for your emotions to not be in check that next game or that next series. So absolutely something that, again, us sports fans are always, what are we looking at? Not conspiracies, but what's the word, guys?
Hard to say. I'm not quite sure where you're going.
I was about to say, I'm not where you're going here.
Superstitious. We are superstitious.
Okay.
And so there is that superstition that if you are sitting and waiting, you're losing your edge. So we'll see what happens. Buffalo and Canadians. I got no idea. I don't know.
Dude,
I think it's
a series. This
2-2?
is a series right now. You guys.
Dude, that cross that was wild.
That was
crazy.
I couldn't believe that.
You got two teams right now that are really starting to dislike each other, and it's showing on the ice, and they're playing close games. Series tied 2-2, heading back to Buffalo.
It's violent.
If this doesn't go 7, I'll kind of be surprised at this point because each game has been fairly not close per se, but grinding for sure. And that usually leads to a 7-game brutal series, which can play in well going into the next series, or it can hurt you. So it'll be interesting to see whoever comes out of that, what that looks like against Carolina and all their time off. Because
Well, you talk
Carolina
about
looks like
Carolina being rested.
yeah.
I mean, and that series goes to 7, man. I don't think Carolina's in any trouble. I think they're going to take advantage of a team that's just been beat up and exhausted.
That usually tends to be the case, no doubt. So, man, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Out west,
Well, we
Ducks
got
and Vegas are playing right now. That series is tied 2-2 right now. That has been a great series thus far, and it's been another grinding series from two teams that people could argue did not expect to see this matchup. Vegas, yes. Anaheim, no. And the fact that they're still putting on a show, if you will, not just a fight, but a show as the young team, underdog, gritty story, if you will. That series I could very easily see going 7 as well, which then you see Colorado potentially being in a similar situation what Carolina is. Now, why the Wild stole Game 3, I don't want to say stole. That's the wrong word. They
dominated Game 3.
Yeah, I was about to say, they wrecked
They
us.
dominated the Avs in Game 3. They came home and they showed up. The Avs did not. Game 4, different story. Avs took back over control of the series, go up 3-1, coming home for Game 5 with a chance to close the series out and a chance to get rest. The Avs aren't a young team. That rest would be very much welcomed. But does that rest become so long that, as Pinky stated, the rust? And you get a hot team like an Anaheim playing house money, nothing to lose. Or a veteran Vegas team that has the potential to come in and upset something. Does that play a factor?
I mean, I don't think it does. I don't think anybody's fooling anybody if we say that it's not going to be the Avs and the Hurricanes in the Stanley Cup. And even if they're shaking off rust for 1 game or 2 games, hockey players are built different, man. They're still going hard every single day on those days of rest. And it's going to be Avs and Hurricanes in the Cup, and it's going to be good.
I can't. I'm
No
so mad I
shade to
made
these
this
other
bet.
teams, but I don't think it's close on either side.
I can't believe I made this bet.
It's a
I'm
great
so-
bet.
I'm so mad.
What's the bet?
So, Cotton, long story super short, my family grew up in Michigan. I've been raised on the Red Wings. Red
Okay.
Wings and Avs don't get along.
I know this well.
So when we moved to Colorado, it was a huge thing. Well, I adopted the Denver Broncos because I'd moved around my whole life. I'm like, this is my NFL team, and I've been here for 20 plus years.
There you
Rockies were the first ever baseball game I've ever seen. The Nuggets was the first basketball game I've ever seen. So naturally, that just falls in line. But I can't like the Avs because I've been raised on the Red Wings. Well, Pinky made a bold statement saying that the Avs are going to win it all, and we're going to go to the parade. And I told him, if that happens, I will buy a Avs sweater and will support the Avs going forward.
Well, I hope you ordered it before they're sold out, bro.
Yeah.
We got it ordered.
We got it ordered. It's on its way, but I'm like, son of a bitch.
Oh, and you got to send it to your family. So not only after you
So,
wear that sweater, they
yeah.
get to disown you.
So
I love this bet. I'm sorry, too soon.
No, it's just so much better to hear an outside perspective come in fresh on this.
Dude, as an Avs fan my whole life, I know the absolute hate for the Detroit Red Wings and the other way around. I remember the Lemieux days. I remember the most brutal brawls ever. So I don't envy where you're at, but unfortunately, it's
But
probably going to be pretty warm when you're wearing that sweater.
you're muted, Robert, or something.
As Pinky said, it's time to adopt where I'm from. I've been here for 20 plus years. I've never been to Detroit. The only claim I have is that 13 years ago, when it was still built, I got to walk the Joe Louis Arena. Pretty cool memory, and everything, getting to see some of that. But again, I don't have any real true ties to it other than that's how I was raised.
Let me tell you, going to a championship parade is pretty awesome.
I've never been to one.
Let's just be honest with the situation. What Robert just did for the world is, in no uncertain terms, give you the definition of Michigan fans. I.e.,
facts.
We are banned
Facts.
mother trucking wagoners. Detroit
Whoa!
Red Wings, because they were really good.
Whoa!
You don't hear him talking about his love for the Detroit Lions and how we had to win him over there.
Is it football season? I don't think so.
Or how he had an issue with the Detroit Tigers. Or, I don't know, name another one. I'm just saying, there might be something more to this than just simply, I was a Red Wings fan because my family was a Red Wings fan.
You just heard me say,
I don't know, maybe they were the only team winning.
And I'm not proud of this statement.
Are you guys on the Pistons? Big Pistons fans back in the late 80s, were you?
No, to be honest, my family, if you go that direction, they're Izzo fans. It stops at college basketball. They're not professional basketball fans.
I was gonna say, your saving grace for you is the fact that you represent all of Michigan State. If you had only over the years voiced your love for Michigan State basketball, you would have been perfect definition of everything I just said. But the fact that you have Michigan State football a time or two, you at least are saved.
And let's be clear. While I do support the Detroit Tigers, and as much as I am embarrassed to say this, the Rockies will still forever be my number one baseball team through and through until the day I die. That will ring true forever.
I won't go that far.
I know you won't. I will. That was my first sporting event, was a Rockies game.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't grow up on WGN and TBS summer midday.
So
that shows.
Let's go,
like,
Braves.
Yeah. So the Rockies are in me. Like that's just never gonna go away.
That's never a good thing.
Spend time on things that are taken away from us getting to our points. Pinky, flip the script. NBA quickly, because I want you to have some UFC tonight as well. Look, I'm gonna say this. James Harden has been James Hardening, but he's also showed up enough to get this series even, which I did not expect to see. New York swept the Sixers. I'm going to be very honest with you, and I kind of led to this last week in not so uncertain terms. New York keeps playing this way, and they have a legit shot to win the title. And for anybody telling me I'm crazy with that statement, let's not forget, OKC went to 7 games last year with Indiana. And Indiana wasn't some kind of offensive juggernaut or some kind of defensive stalwart, okay? If you're on a heater and you're playing great basketball, you can show up and do some things. And right now, New York's doing that. And it's not just doing that. I've mentioned plenty of times they're insanely talented but insanely inconsistent. They're Jekyll and Hyde, and you have no idea which team's showing up. Well, very recently, you know who's showing up, and it's been the team that's dominating. It's flat out dominating. And if that team continues to show up, they have every chance at winning an NBA title, which it would be really hard for me not to be rooting for New York. I mean, I'd probably catch me talk about orange and blue skies and go New York, go. Like, I'd probably jump on that bandwagon for a number of reasons.
Everybody but OKC.
Yeah,
F them.
most likely. So
they make basketball unwatchable.
Does that take away what they're doing while they have to sit and wait for the winner of Detroit and Cleveland? We just talked about it in hockey. I don't see that happening here, though. They've just got so much talent that's playing really well together right now. And compared to the other two teams they would be playing, the matchup just favors them in every scenario. Outside of maybe talking about Cade Cunningham. But it's not like Brunson's a slouch. I would just give an edge to Cunningham there. I would not give the edge to Harden or Mitchell or whoever else you want to put in front of that situation. Excuse me. So New York's looking like NBA Finals right now, and I have no trouble saying that whatsoever. Out West, I cannot help but think I want LeBron James to come back next year in the worst way. And I want to see, and this is going to sound almost blasphemous as a Nuggets fan. I don't really care because I love the game. I want to see what LeBron James is the third option and the prime facilitator with Luka and Reeves fully healthy as 1 and 2, what that Lakers squad could do. Because the way they were starting to gel and play before all those injuries hit was starting to look really good. And I would love to see what that looked like, especially out West, challenging San Antonio, Minnesota, OKC, Denver. If they find a way to get their stuff together, if they just run it back, they're not going to be as big a threat. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like, because that could potentially be a threat out of the West if they run with that lineup and scenario for a full season. It was starting to look dangerous. So I'm very intrigued by that.
Caleb,
but OKC, go ahead. What?
Do you ever think that LeBron, with all of his pride, is going to be okay with being number 3?
Yeah, because he was. I was questionable on it until I saw it for a solid 2-week stretch where they were just looking like things were starting to click, and I do, because I think more than anything at this point, Chase, he understands that if he does that, if he's the prime facilitator and then the third option, he would still be looked at as the leader of the team. Maybe not necessarily the reason they won. That might go to Luka in that situation. But I think he would be looked at as the leader, and he could then count that as another championship and arguably his greatest championship. And then it gives him another one in an LA uniform, which then can add to the pantheon there. So what it does to his legacy, I think he sees that. And it would not surprise me at all if it happened.
I'm glad you see it. I don't see it.
That's fair.
I think LeBron doesn't want to end his career coming off the bench for any team.
I didn't say coming off the bench. He just wouldn't be the primary focus on offense. That would go to Luka and Reeves.
Well, doesn't number 3 typically come off the bench and 1 and 2 start? Caleb?
You want to look at it that way, then I'll change my verbiage.
Okay.
I don't want to be taken that way.
That's how I took it. I took it as you think that he would be great as the guy coming off the bench. And I don't see him wanting to do that.
Still starting, basically what I'm meaning then is, I'll clarify, he would be like a actual point guard. He would not be looking for his shot. He would not be looking to have the offense run through him. He would be out there to facilitate and run the offense to make sure things get done the way they need to, i.e. Luka being the primary option. Him being the third option would be balls in my hand. I've got the ability to make a move. I have the green light whenever I want to. But I want to see Luka and Reeves get theirs before I start looking to get mine, is the way I see third option, if you will.
Do you think if other teams know that it changes their entire defensive scheme against that team?
Yes.
Knowing absolutely. LeBron's not the guy?
It absolutely would. But the beauty of that would be LeBron has one of the highest IQs that have ever played the game. So him being able to sit there on the court and move the chess pieces with 2 primary scorers available to him and then himself if needed, that's why it gets me excited. To watch him run a chessboard on the court and see that IQ running instantaneously in that sense, that stuff I love to see. So that's why I get excited about that thought process. I know. My bad.
I would love to see that too. I just don't see LeBron as not being the guy who wants to take the shot at the end of the game.
Fair. Let's see what happens next year. San Antonio, Minnesota tied at 2. Victor Wembanyama.
Spurs rolled 3-2.
Oh, did
Spurs-
it play tonight and I missed
Spurs
it already?
won. Spurs won by almost 30.
I didn't check that. My bad.
Yeah, nobody else wanted an elbow to the face.
Yeah, that's fine. 3-2 Spurs.
Let's go.
That means we're going back to Minnesota for Game 6. It's a series. It wouldn't surprise me if this went 7. I actually said 7 in Minnesota winning just because of the matchup potentially being dangerous with a young Spurs team. But they're looking good. Spurs OKC is the finals in the Western Conference everybody wants to see.
Spurs need to save us from a freaking. If OKC is in the finals, I will not watch a game.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They're unwatchable. I cannot watch it. It's.
We'll discuss that next week. I'm not going to go down that road this week. We'll discuss that next week.
Shea is worse than watching LeBron.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But that's a good series right now, and you've got some firepower on both sides that is well worth watching. 3-2, though, wouldn't surprise me if the Spurs closed it out in 6. I still like Minnesota in 7, but we'll see what happens. Pinky.
Spurs
UFC,
are rolling.
hit it.
But...
We're going to take 5 minutes. Robert, I apologize, but let's do this.
No, we can do this pretty quick. Look, these are the 2 fights to talk about. I will say UFC 328, the whole card top to bottom was pretty awesome.
That was a great. It was a solid card. I actually ended up watching a few of the fights. No, that was awesome.
So it was perfect. TKO knows what they're doing. WWE was early, it ended, and then the fights. It was great. I had a great time. It was a great night. The Van and Tahara, I don't know. That was a great fight. I will say Tahara, as a young, great prospect, learn how to move your face, bro. Like he just left his face for Van to just punch it. Like it was like, bro, move your head. Like
you do wonder when you start seeing stuff like that, why like the guy just stands there still and just like eats it and then eats it. It's like at least bob while you're eating it. Try to make it like bounce off of you a little bit.
You know, eat one. If you're gonna eat a jab, at least after you eat the jab, throw something. Like, don't just keep eating it. Like, you know, I give the kid credit. He almost, it looked like they were right about to stop the fight, I think, in round 1. And he got through and made it. And then the next thing you know, like, he kept eating shots, but you know, he kept coming. I give him credit for that. It did end in a KO or TKO, the ref stoppage, but really good fight. And then Chimaev and Strickland.
First off, can we talk about the weight controversy? That really
absolutely
pisses me off. So coming from a wrestling background and knowing what you have to do to cut weight and not making it is an absolute fucking travesty. But that's the sport. You have to do it. And with how quickly they did it, and dude looked absolutely wrecked as a human. Like absolute dog shit. But you still have to make your fucking weight. And I refuse to believe that he did. There's no way. To call a weight in 3 seconds at 185 is bullshit.
So here's what happened, Robert. Is this fight was made very quickly.
Oh, I know.
We need something to happen. Chimaev was already working towards going up to 205, and Dana White called him and said, "No, man, I need this fight at 185 before you finish." And they made sure it happened because it wouldn't have been for the belt if he missed weight. So
weight classes
sure.
are a joke. They always have been. I will never understand how they've managed to work the way they have their entirety of the sports that have them. And what I mean by that is simply put, you should be fighting at the weight class you weigh in for when the fight starts. Not a day before, not this rehydration clause shit that happens all the time, not anything else that goes into it. If you're fighting 185, you want to say there's a 5-pound window, I'm good with something like that. But you should be fighting at 185, not 205, 210, 220. Like, for those that forget, I I am very specifically talking Alex Pereira. The man did fight at middleweight at one point in time. He is now fighting at heavyweight. And he has to cut for heavyweight.
No.
Keep that in mind.
No,
Oh,
he doesn't.
will.
He doesn't cut heavyweight's up to 265. He doesn't cut for that.
He could.
No, he walks around at like 230.
He's got a bulk.
You get my point. Jesus
Heavyweight is anything over 205.
I know. You understand what I'm saying.
You went the wrong direction, my friend.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. You went the wrong direction.
I didn't. There was... Never mind.
Light heavyweight, yes. Light heavyweight's 205, yes. He went up to heavyweight. As long as he's 206, he's a heavyweight. So there you go. Great fights. Looking forward to June 14th at the White House on Father's Day. So that should be a good time.
I guess that means I'm going to have to be at your house, huh?
6 p.m. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, you will be at my house, son. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Dad.
Bring me a card.
I will.
And some flowers.
I don't know. I don't know if Cotton knows this story,
It's
but
whiskey, not flowers. But
yeah, it's whiskey, not flowers. That would be what would happen. I love that this has just evolved into its own thing, Pinky. I think it's great, to be honest.
Well, when you put yourself out there for adoption, you shouldn't be surprised.
I didn't realize I was up for adoption, Caleb. I thought that being 28 years old did its own thing. I didn't realize that I was somebody else's child for the claiming. But okay.
Just saying, you put yourself in a position.
I didn't put myself in any position. I simply just show up, and it just happens.
Man,
all right.
You didn't have puppy dog eyes walking around all the time.
I don't.
And a punchable face.
I don't. Fuck you.
Don't you speak to your father like that?
There's not enough alcohol in my house right now.
I actually said that today at work. We were actually talking about that. One of our 23-year-olds that's getting all trained up. One of the guys was like, he's got a really punchable face. I was like, yeah, my son Robert does too. Know exactly what you're saying.
I hate it here. I hate it here. I want to go home.
Oh, good stuff.
Anyway, do you have any other sports to cover here?
No, we're good.
So Cotton, I don't know if you caught it in the opening, but my question for the guys from last week is what makes you personally love a villain in movies, TV series, books, whatever your game is, what makes you love it?
Are you asking me? You put
No. I'm just giving you the background because that's the topic we're getting into. Is we didn't have any movies or whatever to really discuss. I want to know from the guys what their perspective is about villains. What makes them love the villains? So feel free to give your opinion, but that is the topic for discussion is what makes you love a movie villain or TV villain, etc. So the floor is open. My example is, and obviously, I mean, you can tell I'm a huge Star Wars person, is you just have to hear Darth Vader breathing. He doesn't have to say a single word. Just his presence alone makes you go, oh, it's about to get very real and things are about to go down. I mean, the hallway scene in Rogue One is a prime example. It's just, he said nothing and his presence was like that's just amazing. As a villain, you're just there.
At its base level, for me, it's super simple. You have to make me care.
Ooh. Okay.
I don't care if it's I care and I love you. I don't care if it's I care and I hate you. I have to care. If I am indifferent, there's no real villain, if you will, in that scenario then.
So what makes you care about Vader before 1, 2, and 3? As just a Because I know you loved Star Wars. I know you loved Darth Vader. So that makes me, I got to know, because you grew up on that before. What made you love Vader prior to?
There was a constant presence of unknown, but obvious. There was like this obvious backstory of tragedy.
Okay.
And so there was this consistent care of, I never even hated Vader. It was always like, it was what caused you to become this? And because of that, I always cared about his story.
Okay. I love it. There's always that unknown, the mystery surrounding the man behind the mask. Okay.
Yeah, I think the easiest one, though, and to me it is, I have a hard time saying this isn't the best villain in cinema history, because I was so captivated by the performance, but it's Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, good one.
And that character you didn't just hate as a villain, you almost sympathized with to an extent. That's how much you cared about that character. Because you were like, damn, what turned you to this? What is wrong with you? What happened to make you go down these roads? And it's like, is it one of those where it is, like Alfred said, simply some people just want to see the world burn? And that is that simple? Or is there a true backstory to the Joker that caused him to then continuously spiral to a point of no emotional care whatsoever? Like, but there is this constant juxtaposition, if you will, because he doesn't want to kill Batman either. Like, he wants to keep Batman around because he wants to have a story, in a sense, is his idea. So there's so many things about that character that's not just good versus evil that draws me in and makes me care.
A good villain needs to have conviction in what they're doing, and that for them, it's not evil, it's not bad, it's not wrong. They're making the hard, tough choice to make things better.
Love that. The Thanos example, if you will.
No, I'll go as far as Khan from Star Trek.
Okay.
Protecting
Right,
his people. Ricardo Montalban. Like,
Right.
that,
That's
his
good.
portrayal was just impeccable.
Conviction
Because it was him
in
and
what
his
they're
people.
doing.
And he had that conviction, and he's like, I'm doing what's best for
So-
my people.
So as the audience, it creates that, is he right? Right? So Joker's a little bit different. He's more about creating chaos and kind of what that chaos does. And chaos bringing good and evil, yin and yang, right? But the conviction. And I'm trying to think of other villains that have had that conviction.
There's a lot of those. I mean, honestly, you could look at some of the Bond or Mission Impossible villains in that same kind of light, if you will, to an extent, because a lot of them are saying, I'm trying to bring down the world order because it is so corrupt and start anew. And it sounds awful because you're killing, billions in some of those scenarios. But the
Right.
idea being no different than Thanos in the sense that he's trying to make things better by going backwards. Might not be the best examples, but they do kind of fall under that same category.
I had a couple, but it's whenever you watch those movies, well, even like the whole concept of Dexter,
Ooh.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, that was going to be one I was going to throw out there.
Dexter has a conviction of he needs to kill, but then his father taught him a code of only kill bad people.
Is he a villain, though? Because he's portrayed as the hero of that story, right?
Well, but that's up to the interpretations, because at the end of the day, he is still committing murder.
So doesn't he fall into more of that anti-hero with like the Punisher and things of that nature, where they're willing to cross the
Yes.
line, but still for good reason?
And one of the other examples that I was going to put in Caleb, I know you'll really understand this to a better extent, but Paul Atreides. I mean,
Okay.
you have that, I mean, and it's more accurately told in the sequel in Messiah, but there's a whole conversation, and I'm not going to try to expand on this too much, but where he's relating himself to Hitler and Genghis Khan for the amount of casualties and genocide he's brought to the universe.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be more in this conversation after we see the third movie. You've given me enough
completely
sneak peek to kind of fill me in because of my wanting to know, but that
right.
does sound like a bit of foreshadowing for sure to include him in this conversation.
And that's why for me it's like you that conviction, right, is he's doing this because his family was sent to rule and control the spice and free Arrakis, and instead it was a double cross, and that led him.
Good word for villain.
Yes,
for
and
really true all-time great ones.
Absolutely, which is what is so. And a better one, it would be currently in our string of entertainment would be Loki. He started off as the misunderstood villain, and his conviction was that I want to be seen, and then became the most powerful god in Marvel Cinematic Universe as of now. Like, that whole start to finish and his conviction to be who he was and then be captured by the TVA to then evolve into who he is now. Does that truly still make him the villain, or does now he become the saved villain and the hero?
Yes, it depends on your actions moving forward once that crossroads unfolds, right?
Absolutely. Which brings you to that point again that I brought up of Paul Atreides is, and to the Joker even in the Dark Knight is, you know, the whole villain conversation. Do you die a hero, or do you live long enough to be the villain? Which is in today's day and age, and a lot of the themes, and not just books and movies, there is that element of, well, now the hero did become the villain because of the lengths they had to go to.
Sure. Cotton, you got a favorite villain?
I mean, I want to lighten up the mood. I feel like it got heavy and intense and dark. Like, when I think of a villain, like, I think of like one of my favorite movies, Dodgeball, right? You got Globo Jim as the villains.
Yes.
You know, and like, all you want to see from that villain is how they're going to fail for being such an asshole. And so, like, if I look at it from that perspective, which is very different, you know, you guys are kind of talking dramatic suspense. I'm talking about comedic villains here. You know, nobody makes me bleed my own blood, LaFleur. You just want to see that guy fail, and you want to see him bleed his own blood because, like, you've seen these guys, and you're like, you're going to get your comeuppance, man. And, like, so I guess my view is very different on the subject, whereas I'm not really looking into their past, like, hey, man, how did this guy get so fucked up? It's like, well, this guy is super fucked up, and I can't wait to see how he gets more fucked up.
I love that view, Cotton, because we watch movies almost religiously, so we go to that dramatic effect because it's like at some point that's just all we start consuming. So I do love that because it's like, you know what? Yeah, how are they going to fail? Like Blazing Saddles and all of those things. How are these villains going to Dr. Evil? Like, how are they going to lose?
There's no better than Dr. Evil, right? And you just couldn't wait to see him fail with, you know, Preparation H and like fucking the rocket that's the dick and balls. You're like, I'd love to see this guy fail.
Yo,
completely.
Completely. Best call out ever because he actually is probably the most underrated villain of all time.
Dude, Dr. Evil is awesome.
Evil literally just checked every box that all of us talked about. Conviction, you care. You don't need the backstory, but you do get a backstory.
You do?
He's like the perfect villain in reality.
Exactly. And we all couldn't wait to see him fail. I guess there's a good point. Is you don't often want to see the villain accomplish what they're going out to accomplish because it would ruin the whole story.
And this is where I think there's where I think we're breaking up villains in tiers here. Whereas in, I'm a big wrestling guy. So what you just described is heels in wrestling where they want you to hate them. And so then you want them to get their ass kicked. Right? And that's kind of the same thing with if you know the villain is a jerk and a douchebag, you want to see the jerk and the douchebag lose. In my case, in cinema and TV shows, a villain that you start kind of thinking is what they're doing right. Are they actually in the right? That gets you at least thinking about it, right? And that's where, again, like you said, darker, kind of more deeper thought. But again, at the end of the day, like a good story has a good guy, it has a bad guy, and typically we want the bad guy to lose. Just in certain cases, we want the bad guy to really get punched in the face as many times as possible. So
unless you're Daniel Radcliffe and you feel a punchable face, then go.
Very punchable face.
I want to ask you guys this. Do you have to have a villain for the story to be good?
No.
Absolutely not. But it adds.
It adds to the multitude of the movie, but it doesn't necessarily have. You don't necessarily have to have a villain.
There's stories
Can
that
the hero and villain be one and the same?
Yeah.
Sure.
I would say, and this is in my case, it's a great example. For you all three, probably not the best example. But there was a movie that came out recently that actually won Best Animated Picture called Flow. And it's just about this cat. There's a flood that happens, and it's just trying to figure out what life is. There's no dialogue. It's just music and very great, well-done animation. But there's truly no villain to it. You're just simply watching this journey. And I thought...
Oscars, is that what we're getting at here?
No, I don't. This was one of the French ones, but this one the best. Like it won over Spider-Verse, Caleb. Like this wasn't anything to like mess around with.
Let's not get cared. Oscars.
So
mostly.
But but this was also one of those that like it had so much acclaim in just the film community. Like I'd seen enough of it that I'm like, okay. My curiosity has been piqued. I have to see this, and it was phenomenal. I enjoyed the hell out of it. For what it was. Again, it was 85 minutes. It's not anything that's like cool. Like let me just put on something while I'm doing laundry or whatever. Like no, I put it on, loved it, and was able to go about my day because it was so short. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So I don't think a movie has to have a villain ever.
I mean, I think it's two comedies right now.
Story though be the. Sorry, go ahead, Pinky.
No, you finish.
I was just gonna say the villain in that story, would it then be the setting that he travels through, if you will? I'm trying to think of a better word. The atmosphere, the surroundings, the whatever.
Well, I mean, it's psychology. It's fight or flight at that point. Are you gonna die or are you gonna survive?
Right.
So
You think
it's
about like Homeward Bound, and the villain is basically the journey. Right.
Right.
There's no true villain in Homeward Bound. It's just that they have to try and get back home.
That's the objective they have to overcome. Yeah, completely. So I mean, if you're looking at if you're looking at it under that lens, then yes, the journey is the villain. But how do we get to our end goal? So I get what you're saying, but that I wouldn't say that necessarily makes a movie have a villain. It's just the objection to overcome. I
agree there. You start getting into semantics and how you want to define it in that sense for sure. But just I'm kind of thinking out loud as we're going through this to some of my own questions and follow-up.
Most comedies don't have villains. They have characters that get into crazy situations. And
Tropic Thunder. Thunder, could you argue Ben Stiller's character is the villain?
You could argue that. You could argue the production company. You could argue the militia. There's a lot of there's a lot of villains in that movie.
No, the drug dealers, drug dealers.
Where are you drawing the line, and what is a villain? I think that's because you brought up comedies and everything else.
Hey.
I kept having
Well,
Tropic
a
Thunder in my
villain,
head.
a villain is somebody that wants to see the plan fail, right? Or they want to see a completely opposite objective to what's happening. And so, like, to your thing of Homeward Bound, like, that's not a villain. That is a goal that they objectively have to accomplish. It's a challenge. It's not someone that wants them to drown in the fucking river that they're trying to cross.
Okay.
It's like
You
in
know.
Old Yeller, is the villain the rabies or is it the shotgun? Like,
Oh.
yeah, not to go morbid with it, but like, if we're
Yeah,
gonna
wait.
debate this,
Cotton's over here levitating everything and levitating everything, and you're all no. Remember, we were dark. Go back to
Hey.
we were dark.
Remember,
Dark-
go back to killing the
Rub me
dog
in the
with
mouth.
a shotgun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was it
Hey,
the guy
I'm
that
just-
shot the shotgun or the shotgun?
I'm arguing polar opposites, devil's advocate. Okay.
It's the motherfucker that made that movie that made us all cry. That's the villain.
Yeah. Who thought writing that book was a good idea?
Yeah,
Also,
fuck that
Redford
guy.
grows into that as well.
Marley and
Trying to
me,
make
like,
you cry as a child. What's wrong with you?
but it sticks with you. You know, it's those memorable moments.
Why do you think You're My Boy Blue hit us so hard as adults? Because it instantly went back to dogs dying in the woods.
Facts.
Now that comedy did have a villain. That Jeremy Piven was the villain in that movie.
Hey, just
Was
real
he, though, or
quick,
was he just misunderstood?
what was the name of Ace Ventura when he was the villain in Batman? The Riddler.
The Riddler.
Yeah.
The fucking Riddler was
With
awesome, and
Tommy
I couldn't tell you
Lee's
why. But I did love
The
that
Riddler
character
is
a whole lot.
the Riddler is a fantastic villain who I think is very misunderstood in
Barry
some
played that
cases.
well. He played that well.
Which, not to get super off topic here, but Sebastian Stan's going to be Two-Face, and I'm excited for that in the new Batman movie.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And the Riddler's big thing is he wanted to be smarter than Batman. He wanted
Which
to prove
he
was the
is.
smartest.
I mean, I think in
Stuff
some
hasn't been
regards he
bad,
is.
but I'm definitely not as high on James Gunn's interpretations of the universe this far.
This isn't James Gunn. This is Matt Reeves. This is the Battinson verse.
Oh, you're talking about that Batman?
Yes.
I mean, there's two coming out technically, right? So
Sebastian Stan is going to be Harvey Dent in the Robert Pattinson's Batman with Colin
I'm
Firth's
just saying,
Penguin. No, I was just being clear.
clarifying is good because there
Yes.
are technically.
No. This is a serious moment.
I am
Serious
still kind
Batman.
of perplexed that Gunn is not just going.
We're not
down
gonna.
and
That's a different. We'll have that debate another night.
Yeah,
We could
yeah,
go on
fine.
for that forever.
Fine.
But yes, no. Cotton, great example. Riddler is a fantastic villain, and you love him because he's charismatic. He's smart. He has a purpose, and there is so much he can do with that purpose. You can put it in anything, and his objective would still be the same: is to be the smartest person.
But you also want to see how he's going to fail and how Batman's
Absolutely.
going to want to make him fail. And that was my point.
No, completely. And as much crap as that Batman movie gets, it's one of my favorites. I love Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face. I think he did a great job. It's unconventional, but I enjoy it all the same. I do enjoy that Batman a lot.
That movie is also one of the things that's wrong is when you introduce too many villains into a movie.
Completely.
It just doesn't work.
That Batman's one of those B cult classic Saturday afternoon.
Mortal Kombat type watching movies.
For sure. I want to know a villain you love and are basically rooting for in a sense. The Joker is kind of one of those for me just because I was so captivated by the way Heath Ledger played it. But the other one that I always come back to, and not that I'm necessarily rooting for him, but you find yourself kind of like bummed when shit doesn't go their way. And I totally just am going to draw a blank on the character's name now, but Training Day and Denzel Washington's character. In Training Day.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
Sounds
good.
pretty stellar.
He's a pretty bad guy.
Yeah, so bad that you're kind of like, Oh man, I kind of wanted to see him get over on the
I
Russians.
thought he got. When you do as much of the things that he was doing, it catches up to you eventually.
This would be
it does.
For just from an objective point of view to see the outcome. I would love one of my favorite villains that I love is Clue from Tron. I would love to see how he goes about repurposing Earth. Going
Not
from
well.
digital. No, not well, but I would, but
basically we're all dead. You're probably not seeing that one.
no, I don't disagree. But that'd be one of those like I would love to root for him just to see
I like that.
the end result.
Pinky, you got one?
I think for me, and this is kind of just because I felt like it was so back and forth. Walter White.
Oh, dude.
If he doesn't die and ends up like quote unquote winning, yeah, that'd be a good one.
That is a tough one for sure. Because he doesn't start out as the bad guy.
No,
You're talking about dead.
That's a victim of circumstance right there, Cotton.
Bad stuff.
That is true.
That's a victim. That's a victim of circumstance.
No. That's a true villain arc, is what it is. Like,
I mean, he started out with conviction of, I need to pay for my cancer. I need to take care of my family.
right,
I want
and
my
then he
family to be
becomes
taken care of. And
pure evil incarnate.
I mean, it was all about
Like,
taking care of his
doesn't he say
family.
himself to his wife at one point, basically, like, I am what
I am the
everybody-
danger.
Yeah, like,
I am the one who knocks.
yeah, okay, Walter, good. Solid. Okay, Pinky's.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That was a good. All right.
Chase, you got one?
I mean, there's a few that come to mind for me. And when you brought up Tropic Thunder, I've got to think about my man Les Grossman.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
I
I want Tom Cruise to do a whole series of him.
Well,
like,
I will go down forever as saying that was Tom Cruise's greatest role that he will ever do in his entire life.
I
don't give a
completely
shit
agree.
about Top Gun. I don't give a shit about Mission
Yes!
Impossible.
Yes.
Give me Les Grossman and
Yes!
fucking go and punch the fucking PA right in the fucking face. Like, I love that guy.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Yeah, get that guy a Diet Coke, man.
Greatest cameo in movie history.
Oh my God.
And then, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Big Lebowski. And again, there could be multiple villains in this movie. The Chinaman was not the issue here, dude.
The Chinaman was not the issue. He was not the issue.
Here. Could have been the dudes on the bike. Could have been Big Lebowski himself. Who knows? But I'll take all the villains in that movie for the win, Alex.
Oh my God. That's a solid answer, Chase. That's
Okay.
I love that answer. That's a solid one.
Colonel Lon.
The dude abides. The dude abides.
It's not my
I mean,
road, man.
if the Colonel wins, then we have a series for that, and it's called The Man in the High Castle.
Well, not if the Nazis win. Just Hans Landa won.
Okay.
But he did win.
I mean, he technically won. He got to live. He just had a Nazi swastika symbol
Well,
carved
no,
in his head.
He didn't.
He didn't die.
He didn't die.
What?
They just carved a swastika in his head.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
But what I'm saying is, like, if he won, I mean, then you have the Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
At the
It's
end.
just the Nazis
So,
won.
like, but
He could still win. He
ipso
could have gotten
facto-
away from them without being injured, and he could have won, but he didn't win.
Probably
That's a good
turned into a biker after that.
In Brazil.
Bandana everywhere he goes.
So, don't even get me started on that, Caleb. I have actually a real something to say. You won't get it. Pinky will when he finishes Invincible, but
I might
Yeah.
start that again here soon. We'll see.
so good.
Final thoughts, gentlemen. Robert?
This will be, and it's very tough for me to swallow this, but at the same time, it isn't. This will be the greatest summer for movies for me because I get to take my 6-year-old niece to her first Star Wars movie in the theaters on the first day of summer vacation. I really, that really hit home for me a couple days ago, and when I was getting the popcorn bucket and everything, I'm like, holy shit. My dad took me to Empire when they were doing the re-release, and then I did all the rest of them with him, including Clone Wars. And then now I get to share it with my next family generation and get to take her to see her first. And that I'm super excited to get to do. So
Love it.
that I'm
Chase?
super stoked.
Abs in 6. Cam Young to win.
I like it. Pinky.
We get to talk some NFL football next week, and it's a normal show that Caleb hates. NFL schedule release will be out, boys.
We're going to go see the Seahawks and Broncos, right?
We'll have to see.
All right.
Those tickets might be a little pricey. We'll have to see.
Because it's the champs.
We'll see.
All right.
Come on, Dad. Give him an advance on his allowance.
If not, at least make sure you get the freaking practice tickets this year since you failed last year. You failed epically last year, and I will never let you live that down. I want you to know this.
You can have a Ticketmaster account as well, and also try to get tickets when
I can, but you're the person that drives that conversation. That's your realm of shit, and you failed.
I was
Ladies
busy.
and gentlemen, there's a lot going on right now. Movies, sports, life. Enjoy
F1
it.
next week.
Enjoy it. Go have fun out there. Please hit the little buttons for us. We appreciate it more than you know. Like, follow, share, support in any way. Hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking about. Chase, it's a pleasure. Appreciate you coming to hang out.
Cheese.
You got that quality time with your inner circle, family, loved one, friends, whoever you consider that to be. Cherish those moments. Do not take them for granted. Like we always say, skip us and go do that. Not going to hurt our feelings. Until next week, everybody.
Later.
Pinky in the building, reppin' orange and blue. Broncos country, yeah, you know how we do. High take so wild, you remember the name. From college ball to the pros, Caleb spitting game. Robert here, the pop culture plug. From comics to racing, pour the drink in the mug. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, yeah, bold talk. Good laughs and a glass in the air. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, right? Kick back, tune in, take a wild size.